And here we are back on Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube for the last stream tonight here between the number 2 seed, the Michigan State Spartans, taking on the 10 seed in this one, the Minnesota Golden Gophers. It's a battle of two Big Ten teams right here. The TC gang back in my chat. What is up, man? Thank you so much. He's been here throughout the day. Dedication and support by the TC gang. I'm loving it right here by him. Thank you so much for joining me back on the channel. He's liking Michigan State tonight by 13 points. We're going to see how this game goes on. In my bracket over here, I've got Michigan State going all the way up to the Elite Eight playing Duke. So I'm feeling some MSU in this one. I am sure that basically like 99% of everybody has their brackets filled out as Michigan State as well to prevail. And those people who did have an upset, they probably most likely took Louisville over Michigan State if they wanted that one to happen in the round of 32. Not Minnesota, as Minnesota won their first round game, first upset of the tournament, in the first game of the tournament, as they beat Louisville 86-76 to get to the second round to set up a Big Ten rematch. Both of these teams, Michigan State and Minnesota, they've only played each other once this season. It was back on February 9th, where Michigan State ran away with that game, beat them by 24. It was a 79-55 victory by the Spartans, as Michigan State shot the ball at 52% from the field. Nick Ward had 22 points in that game for Michigan State. And for Minnesota, they shot the ball pretty low at a 37% rate from the field during that only loss of the season to Michigan State. But here we are. We didn't get two matchups on the season between both of these teams when they're Big Ten conference opponent. But here we are with the second one inside the round of 32. Of course, Minnesota had every single player in the starting five had double-digit points against Louisville. Leading the way, 24 points, Gabe Kalsher in the last game. And then shipping in 18 was two players, both of them the two leading scorers on the team, Jordan Murphy and Amir Coffey. Of course, Jordan Murphy ranks 5th in all college basketball in rebounds per game. He averages about 11.5 rebounds per game. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that like button, share, subscribe down below as well. Michigan State, how they got here, they beat Bradley, the 15 seed, in the first round of the tournament, as it was a back-and-forth battle throughout basically the beginning of that game to like the very end of the stretch. But Michigan State pulled it off, led by Cassius Winston, Big Ten Player of the Year, 26 points. Xavier Tillman at 16 points, 11 rebounds in there. Aaron Henry got a pretty good screaming fest out of head coach Tom Izzo. Tom Izzo not too pleased about him and his effort against Bradley. Aaron Henry only finished with 8 points against the Bradley Braves, as he is a freshman playing in his first March Madness tournament round. And Matt McQuaid chipped in 16. Xavier Tillman, or Matt McQuaid with 10. Xavier Tillman with 16 and 11 rebounds. Wow. Thanks for updating me on the score right here. I'm going to get into that next. Florida State crushing Murray State at the moment. It's not even close. 85-57, as that one belongs to the Seminoles by a huge margin at that time around. Let's look to the jaw count here. Ja Morant leading the way, 26 points, but his teammates really didn't help him out and pick up the pace, as Shaq Buchanan and Cowart, both of those players have 11. But basically, for Murray State, it's basically almost half the points have been scored by Ja in that game. 0 points out of Keith Williams, who's in the starting lineup for Murray State. But here we are with this one. Michigan State against Minnesota. Starting in a few minutes from now, the matchup predictor on ESPN.com says this: 90% Michigan State, only 10% for Minnesota. And this one for the matchup predictor on ESPN.com. Tip-off will be starting momentarily, like a minute or two from now. The other game going on, Baylor crushing Gonzaga 37-21. That game is almost at halftime currently. And Amir Coffey from Minnesota, one of the key players to look out for the Golden Gophers on the season, as he's had pretty good scoring time for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. He has double-digit points in 29 games this season for Minnesota. They've played 35 games, so 29 out of the 35 this season. Amir Coffey for Minnesota's got double-digit points, but here we are. Michigan State in the white home jerseys, green lettering. Minnesota in the yellow jerseys with the maroon lettering. Minnesota gets the tip. Here we are to action. Minnesota, Michigan State. As we get underway for the last stream of the night. Minnesota controls the ball, right wing of the three-point perimeter, trying to go inside. Dupree McGrayer kicks it back outside. Now they try to dribble in there. Daniel Aturu, no good. Gets the put back home, though. Gophers of Minnesota up on the board first. 2-zip. Michigan State with the ball. They feed it inside, backing their way. Inside the low post, Xavier Tillman underneath the basket. Kicks it back out. Oh, nice move. And Aaron Henry starts it off with a jam. 2-2 right now with 19:18 left to go in the first. Minnesota with the ball once again. Gabe Kalsher puts it. Now he has it with the ball passes now. Going low post here. Aturu backing his way inside. Kicks it back outside. Top of the key three. No good. Rimmed out from the outside there by Minnesota. That was Murphy who took the three-point shot. Rebounded by Michigan State. Working baseline. Puts it back outside. Cassius Winston with the ball. Top of the key here. And yeah, the ball tipped out of his hand. He did get it up. No backcourt violation. He clears that. Winston puts up the shot up and in. Try to make something happening. Cassius Winston got it right into the bucket off the floor there. 4-2 right now, Spartans. 18:35 left to go in the first. Minnesota with the ball at the right wing in that three-point perimeter here. They pass it top of the key with Jordan Murphy. Goes into the hands of Amir Coffey. Coffey feeds Murphy. Down inside the low post. He gets the ball stripped from him, but Minnesota will get it back. Four to 2, Michigan State out in front. 18:20 left to go in this game. And Minnesota will get the inbound here. We just got under action a few minutes ago. They pass it top of the key three outside. Oh, that is a high three-point shot off the very top of the backboard. Missed by a mile right there. Michigan State with a rebound underneath the basket here for the Spartans. They kick it back outside. And it's Cassius Winston who slows down the offense, puts the ball into the hands of Matt McQuaid at the top of the key. 17:55 left to go before halftime. Nice feed inside. McQuaid kicks it back outside. Trying to dribble in there. Kenny Goins. And a foul called on the play with 17:49 left to go. Four to 2, the current score of this one. And it looks like Kenny Goins will be going to the free throw line. He's a 74% free throw shooter on the year. First shot goes down for the senior from Troy, Michigan. So it's 5 to 2. Michigan State up by 3. Second shot at the line. No good by Kenny Goins. Rebounded by Minnesota. Yeah, Goins against Murphy. Really interesting matchup right there as Kenny Goins ranks 4th in the Big Ten in rebounds per game. Just below 9 rebounds per game on the season. And for Jordan Murphy, he is 5th in all college basketball, averaging 11.5 rebounds into this game. So that's going to be a really good matchup with both of those players. Step back three, left corner, no good from the outside right there by Gabe Kalsher. Rebounded by Michigan State. McQuaid get it past the defense. Soaring up, taking the imaginary ladder to the top. And he jams it down with his two hands. 7 to 2, Michigan State. Matt McQuaid, of course, had that 26-point performance in the Big Ten title game against Michigan. Just hitting everything from the left corner outside. Minnesota trying to drive inside. No good. What a rebound right there by Kenny Goins. Now they're pushing tempo. McQuaid, right corner three. Trifecta on it, but there was a foul called on the play. Yeah, offensive foul before that. Oh, man. So Matt McQuaid did hit the three-point shot, but take away the points because Michigan State ran him right over in the lane. Oh, yeah, that was a great game. I remember that, the Big Ten title game. The first time I did Michigan State against Michigan, it got like a ridiculous amount of people in the chat. Like, that was crazy. So, turnover by Michigan State off the offensive foul. That's too bad because Matt McQuaid just drained the three, but it didn't count because of the offensive foul with a charge inside. Minnesota with the ball, left wing of the three-point perimeter here. Amir Coffey, three, jumper, no good. Rimmed out by Coffey, rebounded by Aaron Henry of Michigan State. They take it past the timeline with McQuaid. Matt McQuaid now passes it Low post to Nick Ward, backing his way in there. Ward, turnaround jumper, baseline. Of course, Nick Ward will hit that. He's a really good shooter from the field. Top 5 Big Ten when it comes to shooting percentage from the field. Right now, 9-2 lead Michigan State. 16 minutes left to go before halftime. Minnesota with the ball, right wing perimeter. They feed it inside. It's a steal. Michigan State with numbers right here. 3-on-2. Lob it over the top. Up and in off the backboard. Kenny Goins. That is incredible that you met Nick Ward. That is great. That's awesome. Timeout on the floor right here by Richard Patino's squad, and the Golden Gophers off to a sore start in this one for Minnesota. Not going their way at all. That is so cool that you met Nick Ward. That is great. Can't wait to show what he can do when he goes into the NBA, hopefully. He's a really good player. That's really interesting. As we have 15:51 left to go before halftime. 11-2, Michigan State really owning on the court right now. That is great, though. Yeah, I have one of my friends who goes to Michigan State, which is pretty cool because I'm from Massachusetts. So, yeah, it's a pretty far campus compared to what people go to around this area. But oh, wow. So, yeah, your local community college was facing that #1 team in that league. That's pretty interesting right there. But, yeah, that's so cool that you got to meet Nick Ward. But right now, the score is 11-2 with 15:51 left to go in the first. We're on a TV timeout right now between Michigan State and Minnesota. Going to get back to action momentarily here, looking at the point distribution across the board. 3 points leading the way and getting it going is Kenny Goins with 3 and 3 rebounds as well. So I'm going to see that matchup. Goins against Murphy. Jordan Murphy with 1 rebound so far, 0 points. Kenny Goins, 3 rebounds, 3 points. Aaron Henry, Matt McQuaid, Cassius Winston, and Nick Ward. All 4 of those players have 2 points right now for the Spartans. Only 2 points on the board for Minnesota. That was scored on the first bucket of the game inside by Daniel Aturu. Minnesota shooting the ball 1 for 7 from the field right now. Michigan State at a perfect 5 for 5. Some easy buckets, really, really easy buckets, and Minnesota hasn't been able to play defense. Even Matt McQuaid was able to take it home and slam it down with a two-hand jam. As Michigan State's campus has the best pizza place. That is really, really great right there. Great time to go out, have a pizza, meet some people, hang out with your friends. That's incredible to have that opportunity to do that. Pretty good opportunity out there to go to like a high-profile college like Michigan State, where they're basically like good at basically every single sport around. Basically, same as Michigan, those 2 schools have like really good programs and everything, like basketball, football, ice hockey. Those are the schools that have great programs. Whereas like you might be like a New England college or something like that and have a good ice hockey program, but they don't probably not have a good football program like Boston College or something like that, because they have a good ice hockey program, but they don't have a great football or basketball program. But they were good when Matt Ryan was there. They have gotten into bowl games as well, but like 7-6 records, or 6-6, or 8-5 or so. That is so cool that you go to like the hockey games at Michigan State. That is great. Yeah, my girlfriend went to Boston University, and they have like a really good hockey team there at BU. I think this year they kind of like underachieved, but from like past seasons, they've been really, really good. As we're back to action here, Minnesota with the ball. They pass it inside. They are down by 9, 11-2 right now. They kick it back outside, right wing of the perimeter, with Dupree and McRae and a foul called with 15:28 left to go in the first. Yeah, sometimes they have good football seasons. Sometimes they're kind of like the bottom of the ACC. It's the conference that they play in. Like, it depends on the conference. Yeah, they actually had college game day last year, which is surprising. But like all the years before that, they weren't like that great of a football team. Besides when like Matt Ryan played for them, I think they were like top 10 that season. So like the college teams, they go like up and down around my area. They're like not usually consistent like they usually are with like these top-notch basketball programs here, like Michigan State, Duke, North Carolina. Like they're usually always good, but like they're usually like back and forth as of like program teams. Like the Providence Friars or so, like they're a hit or miss basically every year when it comes to the tournament. And when they do go into the tournament, they're usually like one of the last teams in, like right on the bubble or so. Like they get like a 10 or 11 seed. But Michigan State, this game belongs to them in the early stages here. 11-2, we're on a commercial break once again. Minnesota shooting the ball 1 for 7 from the field. Michigan State is 5 for 5 right now. Yep. Yeah, of course. They have all great coaches who's been there for a long time with all those top programs. That they've been there for so many years. Whereas the programs that's like at the bottom of the conference, they have to like change hands like once every so often or so with their coaches, like Wake Forest at the bottom of the ACC. Still 11-2 is the score. We're going to get back to action momentarily. Gonzaga up at halftime against Baylor, 39-23 at the moment. Final score here, Florida State blowing out Murray State, 90-62. So that one just went final. John Morant, 28 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, but too much of a size difference there for the Florida State Seminoles. With Fiondu Kabengele, he had 22 points on the game for Florida State, 7 rebounds and a steal. And Christ Kumaji, he only had 6 points. He had 9 rebounds, though. He's 7'4" for Florida State. So right now in the TV timeout, going to get back to action momentarily here. Michigan State, Minnesota. Daniel Oturu got the only bucket home for Minnesota, 2 points. Kenny Goins, the leading scorer for Michigan State with 3. So Florida State had a lot of 3-point shots because Murray State was guarding the paint too much in that game. So that's what looked like it happened there. That's why there's such a large margin. I'm going to look at Florida State with how many 3-point shots they got in this game. Florida State went 11 for 27 from three-point range. So 33 points off of 3-point shots, basically. So a third of their points was from 3-point range for Florida State in that game. So, wow. So that's like a third of their points right there, just drilling down 3-pointers, hitting them down for Florida State. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they must have been like hitting a lot, like good amount when you were watching, like back to back to back. Like everything must have just been going down. Just like Matt McQuaid last week, like late in that game, everything went down against Michigan, and 3-point shot, no good by Minnesota, goes off the rim and out of bounds. So here we are back to action, 15:08 remaining before halftime. Michigan State with a 11-2 lead. We've been stuck at this number for a long time, but we've had like 2 TV timeouts so far and just a lot of stoppage of time on the court. But here we are back to action, Michigan State with the ball. Right wing of the perimeter to the top of the key. Matt McQuaid fed it off to Kenny Goins, and it goes off Goins' fingertips, and it goes out of bounds. Yeah, TV timeouts are especially annoying in the NFL. Like the NFL just drags on so much. There were 2 timeouts here in this basketball game, like the back-to-back, within like 30 seconds as Minnesota tries to go inside. They get the bucket right there. They lay it up and in by Amir Coffey for his first 2 points of the game, 11-4 right now. Coffey had 18.6 rebounds in the first round against Louisville on Thursday, 14.5 left to go. But yeah, I know what you're saying with TV timeouts, especially in the NFL, like right after they punt, they go to a TV timeout, and then they go with a team with whoever has the ball or so. Like after a punt or a kickoff, they always take like a TV timeout. After a touchdown, same thing. Michigan State missed the shot. They get the offensive rebound. They have it back now. At the right wing of that 3-point perimeter, Foster Lawyer off the bench in the game, passes it to Nick Ward, and Nick Ward on the play gets fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot two with 14 minutes left to go in the first. He almost got that shot home right there, tried to hook it in there, but it rattled out. But he got fouled anyway. 11-4 to score. Nick Ward at the free throw line with 14 minutes left to go. Yep. Touchdown scored, TV timeout, kickoff, TV timeout, and then back to the action. And then if it's like a turnover or a punt, another TV timeout. That's why the NFL just drags on for so long. They have to go like commercial break after commercial break. Nick Ward missed his first, made his second one at the line. It's 12-4. With 14 minutes left to go before halftime. Minnesota with the ball. They take it past the timeline. And it's a steal. Matt McQuaid steals it, trying to burst to the hoop, and he finishes right there to the rack, lays it up and in. 14-4. Beautiful steal by McQuaid, taking it the distance. 13:40 left to go. Matt McQuaid with 4 points right now for the Spartans. Minnesota, top of the key. They pass it right corner of the perimeter here. Amir Coffey trying to take it inside. He's short on the layup, but it's a foul committed by Michigan State inside the paint. So Amir Coffey will go to the line to shoot two. He's a 73% free throw shooter on the season for Amir Coffey. The score is 14-4 at the moment. Michigan State already with 6 fast break points in this game. 0 by Minnesota. Got ourselves a 10-point game. Minnesota in trouble at the free throw line right here as I speak. First shot. And he sinks that one for Amir Coffey. On the season, Amir Coffey shooting the ball at 73% from the free throw line. He's the leading scorer for Minnesota, averaging around 16 points per game. 14-5 is the score. Coffey back at the free throw line to shoot his second one. Knocks that one down as well, 14-6. 13.5 remaining. Michigan State with the ball. They take it past the timeline with Foster Lawyer. He's getting some playing time, and here, right wing perimeter. McQuaid passes top of the key. Kenny Goins. Back outside to Goins, and we got ourselves, looks like a offensive turnover on the play by Michigan State on the travel. The ball goes back to Minnesota here. 14-6 the score with 13:20 left to go. So Minnesota has the ball off the Michigan State turnover. 3 turnovers by the Spartans so far. 2 by the Gophers. Michigan State passes it right wing perimeter with Coffey, taking it top of the key here. Top of the key three. Amir Coffey knocks it down on the 3 ball right there from the top of the key. 14-9. 5-0 run. This has all been by Amir Coffey. Ooh, Murphy just slipped on the court. He got up, though. Michigan State with the ball with McQuaid. McQuaid, and offensive foul committed by Matt McQuaid as Minnesota took the charge at the left elbow. And it's a turnover once again. Back-to-back possessions for MSU. Back-to-back turnovers. Just like it looked like Minnesota was done in this game, Amir Coffey showing signs of life back again for the Golden Gophers. 14-9 to score. Minnesota with the ball at the right wing of the three-point perimeter here. This is Kalsher. He passes top of the key to Jarvis Omersa. Back to Murphy. Coffey now trying to go inside. And they get the ball back here. Right wing of the perimeter trying to drive inside. Dupree McBrayer puts up the shot. No good. Off the right side of the backboard. Offensive rebound, though, Minnesota. They set it up. Left wing three. It's open. No good by McBrayer. Rebounded by Michigan State. 12-10 left to go. They pass the timeline with Cassius Winston. Winston, left elbow passes top of the key here. Kenny Goins. Kenny Goins passes right wing Matt McQuaid. He feeds it inside to Nick Ward. Nick Ward backing his way. Right side baseline. Ward underneath the basket. Throws it back out on top. Except it goes into a yellow jersey's hands. Minnesota gets the ball, and they try to go right there with a pull-up jumper from three-point range at the top of the key. No good. Michigan State gets the rebound. So bad selection there. Minnesota could have just drove into the lane and laid it up and in, but instead a missed pull-up jumper. And Michigan State got the rebound. Winston passes down with back. Top of the key three. Goins knocks it down by Kenny Goins. 17-9. Spartans right now with 11:25 left to go before halftime. The only lead that Minnesota's had in this game is when they started out 2-0 up against Michigan State. It's an 8-point lead here. Minnesota with the ball, right wing perimeter, inside the key, and it looks like we do have a foul charged on the play. Reach in by Michigan State. It looks like that was on Gabe Brown, who's off the bench here for the Spartans, who got the reach in foul called. So 17-9 with 11:09 left to go before halftime. I'm going to update you guys with the score. This is my last stream of the night before I get back to action tomorrow. North Carolina against Washington, Duke against UCF tomorrow, doing both of those games. But this is Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. Make sure to hit that like button down below. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. Right now, 11:09 left to go in the first. 8-point lead by Michigan State. Updating you guys on other scores going on right now in college basketball at halftime. Gonzaga beating Baylor 39-23. So that's what's going on there. Leading scorer here, Amir Coffey for Minnesota, 7 points. And 2 points, Daniel Oturu. That's where the 9 points comes from for Minnesota. For Michigan State, 4 points leading the way. Matt McQuaid, or Kenny Goins actually with 6 points. Then McQuaid's second right now. And Matt McQuaid, yeah, he's got some potential out there to take it to the NBA with how he shoots from three-point range. I think he's like top 5 in the Big Ten when it comes to three-point range shooting. So, yeah, he shoots the ball at a terrific clip, around like 42%, I believe, or so. So, from behind the arc. But, yeah, a lot of it's just like catch and shoot, catch and shoot. That game against Michigan, he was just on fire. 7 for 13 from three-point range against Michigan. 27 points. That was, I believe, yeah, it was a season high, that's for sure. I think it was a career high as well. I'll look at his game log right here from the past seasons. But, yes, definitely a season high with that 27 points against Michigan in the Big Ten title game. He dropped 20 last year against DePaul. Shot the ball 6 for 8 from three-point range in that game last year for McQuaid. Let's see the years before that with 16 and 17. How'd he fare from behind the arc or so? He had a couple of double-digit games in the sophomore year in there for Matt McQuaid, but I think, yeah, that was a career high, is 27 points against Michigan. And then his freshman year, let's see over here. He had some more double-digit points in his freshman year. He dropped 17 against Northwestern, 6 for 10 from three. Yeah, 6 for 10 from the field, that was, against Northwestern. 5 for 8 from three-point range his freshman year against Northwestern. But, yeah, Matt McQuaid can definitely shoot the three ball. One of the top three-point shooters in the Big Ten. I'd say go for him in the draft, possibly, if he gets picked, because, yeah, there's a good chance. All you have to do is just work with him, and he'd be able to work off the bench of like an NBA lineup or so. And they have those teams as well for like people who's down in like the development league or so for all the NBA teams as well. So you can do the draft there and put some of your players in the development league to put them grow as well. So the newer players in the draft coming straight out of college. Yep. That G League, they have one, I think up in Portland, Maine, they have one, the Maine Red Claws there. I don't pay attention a lot to like the G League, but I've heard that they exist, and I know because I'm from Massachusetts, so that's where the Celtics G League is up in Portland, Maine, for the Maine Red Claws. That's like a good minor league system. Like the minor league systems they have, like it definitely works. Like the MLB, they have a great minor league system over there. Hopefully, well, now they adopted it with like the Alliance League for the NFL. Hopefully, maybe someday they'll put that to be like the minor league system of the NFL and do like teams off of teams, like make them into like farm systems or something like that. But here we are back to action. Top of the key here for Minnesota as they are down by 8. This is Dupree McBray, our left wing. He feeds the ball for the Golden Gophers. Jarvis Omersa puts that one into the hands of his teammate, trying to go to the rack. No good. Too strong off the rim, but he gets fouled, and Gabe Kalsher will go to the line to shoot 2, I think, no, he turned it over. It's a turnover there. I thought it was a foul on the play, but offensive foul by Minnesota, so Michigan State gets it back. Gabe Kalsher tried to lay it up, and then he fell down on the ground. So Michigan State with the ball, top of the key, Cassius Winston. And another whistle here with 10:37 left to go. So, yeah, you might do a lot of Blue Jays games this year. Yep, Vlad Jr. played in New Hampshire last season. Yeah. Oh, man, I wish I went to New Hampshire this past season to see Vlad Jr. I didn't have a chance, though, to see the Fisher Cats in action. I'm only, like, around, like, 2 hours away from Manchester. New Hampshire's only, like, 2 hours away from me, so he's going to be moving up, I think, to their other AAA team. I think Syracuse is the AAA team, as Minnesota off the steal banks at home. 17-11 is the score right now. 6-point game. We'll try this again with Michigan State. We have 10-10 remaining in this game before halftime. 17-11. Top of the key here, Cassius Winston. Left elbow passes it. Top of the key three. Kenny Goins sinks in another one. Kenny Goins, baby. A perfect 2 for 2 from three-point land. 20-11 right now. Michigan State with 9:50 left to go. $9:40 remaining. Minnesota trying to take it inside. Murphy, no good as they put up the shot. Rebounded by Goins. Bodies hit the floor with 9:37 left to go before halftime. Tons of bodies on the ground right there. That was a missed shot by Minnesota. It went off the top of the iron, and then there was just like a bunch of bodies on the ground as they tried to go up for the rebound. 2 yellow jerseys just hitting the floor hard, and the ball will go back to Michigan State. Rebounding foul committed by Minnesota on that last play. So here we are back to action. Spartans with the ball, left wing, Cassius Winston. Winston now dribbles, free throw circle, lobs it over the top and jams it down to Xavier Tillman. Going over the top right there with a jam. 22-11. 9:15 left to go in the first. Minnesota down by 11. They have the ball, and it's at the right wing perimeter. They almost lost it out of bounds, but they have it at the top of the key here. Michael Hurt is in the game for the Golden Gophers. Left corner three. That is off the mark by Brock Stoll of Minnesota. Rebounded by Michigan State. They take it past the timeline. Winston, top of the key here. Cassius, now with the right elbow, backs out to the right wing of the three-point perimeter. Cassius takes it inside, blowing past defenders. No, he couldn't finish inside the lane, though. Too strong off the backboard. Almost got it to fall, but didn't. Minnesota with the ball, top of the key here. 3 ball from the outside. No, good. He couldn't dial it up from the outside. Was Amir Coffey. Rebounded by Michigan State, taking it up all the way to the distance right there, laying it up and in with a left hand. Kenny Goins getting it going right there as he laid that one up and in. 24-11. 8:20 left to go. As Gonzaga was up big at halftime, but now it's 39-33. Gonzaga's up with 18 minutes left to go. Left wing perimeter here. Minnesota takes the 3 ball from the outside. No good. Another brick by Dupree McBrayer. Another Minnesota brick means another rebound by Michigan State. Michigan State right elbow here. Cassius Winston. Winston dribbles back, and now he tries to take it inside. Nice pro hop move in the lane, up and in. Banks it home by Cassius. National Player of the Year possibly for this guy. Big Ten Player of the Year. Point Guard of the Year for sure, in my opinion. 7:40 left to go. Besides Ja, but yeah, top 5 point guards. Ja, Cassius Winston, Tremont Waters. Those guys should be inside that top 5. Minnesota in the lane. It is blocked by Kenny Goins right there. And a whistle with 7:26 left to go in the first. I think Zion. Zion for sure for the award. Zion, Morant, RJ. But yeah, I'm going Zion. Just, it's insane what Zion can do. Like, we haven't had an athlete in college for like quite a bit of time, what he can do. Like, that big of an athlete, just an absolute monster, how huge he is. But he has such great athletic abilities, can just do it all. Like, his wingspan, just incredible. How high he can jump. He's just, oh man, he's just incredible. Currently 26-11, commercial break at the moment. I think 7:26 left to go in the first when we do get back to action here on my channel. But yeah, 15-point lead by Michigan State as the first half is around 7.5 left, basically, until it comes to a close. But yeah, Minnesota is in trouble at this point. 9 points right now, Amir Coffey. 9 out of the 11 points. Daniel Aturu with 2 points and only 1 rebound by a top 5 rebounder in college basketball. That is Jordan Murphy. He usually has around 11 rebounds per game, but Jordan Murphy has been held to 1 rebound right now. He also had a foul charged on him as well. Gabe Kalsher from Minnesota, 2 fouls committed. For Michigan State, Kenny Goins leading the way, 9 points as he's got going, 5 rebounds and a block and a steal as well to go along with his profile by Kenny. 4 points, Cassius Winston, 6 assists so far by Cassius already, almost hitting his average for assists. He basically hit Xavier Simpson's average, the number 2 assist man in the Big Ten. Matt McQuaid, 4 points. Xavier Tillman with 4 points. Nick Ward with 3. And Aaron Henry with 2. So that's how the numbers are dropping down right now. Close game between Gonzaga and Baylor. It was 39-23 at halftime, but Gonzaga now up only 41-35 against Baylor with around 17.5 left to go in that game. So yeah, interesting game there. So Baylor beat Syracuse because they hit 16 3-point shots in that game. Here we are again. I'm just going to check some of these team stats. Let's see what Baylor's done from the 3-point line. Only 3 3-point shots have been made by Baylor today. So not like the 16 they made against Syracuse, but Baylor is coming back. They're only down by 8 at the moment against Gonzaga. Looking at other basketball games going on later today. Tipping off around 8 minutes from now, Villanova against Purdue. And then the late game, Auburn against Kansas, around an hour and 10 minutes from now. But here we are getting ready to go back to action. Michigan State against Minnesota. It's basically a blowout at this point right now. (26-11). I'll be back tomorrow with Washington against North Carolina. Duke playing against Central Florida, but here we are, 26-11. Michigan State up by 15 with 7:26 left to go in the first. Jordan Murphy, 18 points against Louisville. He has been held to a big goose egg, and he's on the bench as well for the Golden Gophers. 0 points so far today for Jordan Murphy. Here we are back to action. Michigan State with the ball, top of the key with Tillman. Xavier Tillman passes it off left wing of the perimeter here. Aaron Henry trying to take it inside. The jumper in the key. No good by Henry. The offensive rebound underneath the basket and the foul called. And Michigan State will go to the line to shoot 2 with Xavier Tillman. A 73% free throw shooter on the year. Xavier Tillman's also ranking 3rd in the Big Ten in shooting percentage from the field. Shooting about 61% from the field. Also, Nick Ward in there as well. Nick Ward shooting 4th in the Big Ten at 61% from the field. First shot goes down right there by Xavier Tillman and extending the Spartans' lead 27-11. We have 7:09 left to go in this game before halftime. 27-11. Tillman at the line for his second one. No good on that one. Rebounded by Minnesota. The top rebounder and top 5 rebounder in all of college basketball. Jordan Murphy's not in the game. Minnesota's getting out-rebound on the boards right now. 15-5 at the moment. Golden Gophers with the ball here. Top of the key. They have it now, dribbling with the ball. Brock Stoll passes it into the hands of Daniel Aturu. Goes into the hands of Isaiah Washington, taking a baseline spin move, trying to back his way in there. Worked by Cassius Winston. Kicks it back outside. Left wing 3 by Minnesota. No good. Rebounded by Aaron Henry of Michigan State. Winston takes it past the timeline. Puts it into the hands of Tillman. Top of the key. He's trying to dribble inside. Blowing past defenders. Putting it up and in with his left hand. Laying it up there. 29-11 with a layup by Xavier Tillman. 7 points right now. A perfect 3 for 3 from the field by Tillman. 29-11. 6:15 remaining. Minnesota. Baseline left side jumper. No good. Big, strong rebound. Nick Ward brought home that board. Michigan State with the ball. Winston now. Free throw circle. With the ball, he feeds it inside the low post underneath the basket. Ward puts it home right there. 31-11. Total domination right now by the Spartans. 5:59 left to go. Another timeout called by Richard Pitino. This has just been a blowout from the start here. This is basically the same thing that happened in the last appearance both of these teams took to the court. Back on February 9th, Michigan State beat Minnesota 79-55. Michigan State shot the ball at 52% from the floor. Nick Ward had 22 points in that game. Minnesota shot the ball at 37% from the floor. Look at these numbers tonight. Everything is telling the blowout in fashion right now. Michigan State, 13 for 16 shooting from the field. 81% shooting from the floor right now by Michigan State. Minnesota at a dismal 19% shooting from the floor. They are 4 for 21 right now. This is a game of highs and lows with both of these teams. One team already basically punching their ticket to the Sweet 16, and we're not even to halftime here. The other team looking like they're going to be sent home. Still a lot of basketball left, though. 14-0 run by Michigan State. Here we are, back to action. Lob pass, trying to back their way inside. Foul called, committed by Nick Ward on the play with 5:46 left to go in the first. So Minnesota should get the inbound here. What a blowout to start. Here we are getting ready to go back to action. Minnesota catch and shoot left corner three. Finally, something by the Golden Gophers gets knocked down. They hit the three-point shot from the left corner. 31-14, Michigan State with the ball. 2 for 12 shooting from behind the arc today by Minnesota. 2 for 3 by Michigan State. Right wing perimeter. They back it down. Nick Ward. Top of the key here. Winston. Jumper. No good. Just rattled out. Almost got the three-pointer to fall in for Cassius Winston, but no cigar there. Just rattled out. Minnesota with a rebound. They pass it top of the key here with Daniel Aturo. Puts that ball into the hands of Amir Coffey. A three by Coffey. No good. Nick Ward with a rebound. Winston passes the timeline with the ball. Lobs it. Left wing three. Catch and shoot. No good by Michigan State. Fight for the rebound, and the ball gets tipped out of bounds. On the play, Gabe Brown missed a three-point shot by Michigan State. We have 5:01 left to go before halftime. 31-14 is currently the score. And Michigan State will get the ball here back on the inbound. So Nick Ward with that hand injury coming back a few weeks ago. He was cleared to play back in this game as well. Jumper by Ward. No good. He airballed it. Offensive rebound, though. Puts it back in. Aaron Henry off the glass for two. 33-14. Michigan State up by 19. 4:40 left to go in the first. Right wing of that three-point perimeter here for Minnesota. Minnesota in a lot of trouble with the ball. Inside the key with Isaiah Washington. Fade away. Elbow two. Not even close. Hit the rim. Short ball goes out of bounds, though. Golden Gophers will get it back. It was last touched out of bounds by the Spartans. Here with 4:28 left to go before halftime. Minnesota will get the ball here on the inbound. Gonzaga leading Baylor 47-38 with 14:40 left to go in that game. Minnesota will get the inbound pass here momentarily. A quick foul on the play committed by Michigan State. So they didn't even inbound the ball, and it looked like Gabe Brown got called for a bumping foul right there in the play. As Minnesota tried to get open, they do. They pass the ball left wing of the perimeter here. Minnesota trying to dribble inside. They are stripped of the ball in the lane. Michigan State takes it back. Numbers advantage here. They kick it back outside. Michigan State at the key. And they pass it back out on top. On top here, Foster Lawyer with the ball top of the key here for the Spartans. 33-14, 4:05 left to go before halftime. Lawyer puts the ball into the hands of Gabe Brown. Brown now top of the key with the ball from Michigan State. Passes left wing three from the outside. No good by Kenny Goins, and rebounded by Minnesota. Golden Gophers take it past the timeline. Left wing, Amir Coffey dribbling now. He tries to take it inside. Kicks it back out. Right wing three, Kalshar. No good again. Gabe Kalshar not having the shooting night at all for Minnesota. As Michigan State gets the rebound, they try to put it inside to Nick Ward. Stolen away by Minnesota. Kalshar will set up the offense here for Minnesota. Ball goes into the hands here of Isaiah Washington, right wing of the perimeter. Washington feeds it over to Omersa. Jarvis Omersa. And now they kick it back outside. Left wing of the perimeter. Almost a travel there by Minnesota, but the refs don't call it. Amir Coffey with the ball. Coffey. Jumper at the free throw circle. No good by Amir Coffey. Rebounded by Nick Ward. Battling with it with another defender. Snags the rebound by Nick. 33-14. Minnesota is shooting the ball 5 for 17 from the field right now. Right corner of the perimeter here for Michigan State. They pass the top of the key with Kenny Goins inside to Nick Ward. It's batted down from behind. No foul call. Nick Ward was looking for one. And Minnesota blowing by the defense, up and in by Amir Coffey right there. Nick Ward raised his hands, yelling out to an official, why was there not a foul there? As he had the pass right in front of him, and Minnesota looked like they grabbed the ball from behind and definitely made contact, but they stole it away and laid it up and into the rim. 33-16, Michigan State with the ball, right wing of that three-point perimeter here. They pass it outside, left wing three. No good by the Spartans. Battle for the rebound. Minnesota's got it. 2:10 left to go before halftime. Minnesota, top of the key here. Down by a large margin, though. They feed it inside, kicks it back outside. Right corner three. No good. A lot of bricks. This is Brick City today for the Golden Gophers. They had an open opportunity right there. They missed it. Timeout called on the floor. Michigan State. I'm going to update you guys with the score. A lot of back and forth action, but Michigan State right now 33-16. We are under 2 minutes left to play before halftime. It's all Spartans in this one with 1:59 left on the clock. Let's update you guys on the leading scores before we go into the team stats right now. Leading the way for Michigan State. 9 points, Kenny Goins. He's got going in this game. 5 rebounds as well. 2 blocks by Kenny and a steal to add to his profile. 7 points, Xavier Tillman. Second on the team in scoring. 4 points by these 3 players. Aaron Henry, Matt McQuaid, and Cassius Winston. Nick Ward with 5 and 4 rebounds as well for Michigan State. For Minnesota, the scoring happens like this. 11 points, Amir Coffey leading the way. He has 11 out of the 16 points so far for Minnesota. He's also taken 12 shots from the field. He's hit 4 of them so far. 2 points, Daniel Aturu. And then Isaiah Washington off the bench hit a 3-point shot for Minnesota. Other than that, this has not been a close game besides the 2-0 start Minnesota put up on the board. But here are the shooting percentages for you. Michigan State shooting the ball at 64% from the field. Minnesota shooting at 21% from the field. 2 for 15 from behind the arc right now by Minnesota. 2 for 7 by Michigan State. And coming in, the top 5 rebounder in all college basketball happens to be Minnesota's Jordan Murphy. Jordan Murphy's on the bench right now. He has 1 rebound total in this game. 1 rebound. We talked about the matchup earlier between Jordan Murphy going up against Kenny Goins. Kenny Goins with 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, a steal, and 9 points. Jordan Murphy sitting on the bench, a top 5 rebounder in all college basketball. 1 single rebound. How about this rebound margin here? Michigan State out-rebounding Minnesota 24-9 at this stage of the game. That is just a huge rebounding margin by 15 rebounds right now. 20-6 on the defensive end at this stage of the game. That is crazy. Michigan State's turned over the ball 8 times. Minnesota's turned it over 3 times. Yet, even with those 8 turnovers, look at the score. It's 33-16 at the moment. A 17-point game here with 1:59 left to go in the first when we do get back to action. It's because the shooting percentage for Michigan State's just off the chart. Just no defense has been played in this game by Minnesota. Just like no effort on the defensive end. Michigan State sinking open jumpers, getting into the lane, laying it up and in with not really any contested shots. We get some score updates here. Gonzaga up against Baylor, 55-44 with 11:45 left to go in that game. So the winner of Gonzaga against Baylor will take on Florida State. That game will be on Thursday in the Sweet 16. So, yeah, Florida State, one of those teams they were talking about possibly being dangerous, dropping 90 points against Murray State earlier today. But here we are back to action. The winner of this one will play against LSU in the Sweet 16. Michigan State with the ball got tipped in the air. Minnesota with a steal. Right wing in that three-point perimeter here for the Golden Gophers. Dribbling baseline. Spin move in the lane. Finally, a bucket goes down. This time, another one by Isaiah Washington. 33-18. Michigan State with the ball. They have it. Top of the key here with Matt McQuaid. Isaiah Washington with 5 points. Second on the team in scoring behind Amir Coffey of Minnesota. Cassius Winston, 3-ball, top of the key. No good. Rattled out by Cassius. Rebounded by Minnesota. 33-18 the score. We have 1:10 left to go. And this one before halftime. Minnesota with the ball here at the top of the key. They dribble right wing that three-point perimeter. Dupree McBrayer dribbles out of it. Now back to the top of the key here with McBrayer. McBrayer trying to go inside. Jumper. No good. Off the mark as he tried to work on Xavier Tillman. Rebounded here by Michigan State. Winston. Top of the key with the ball. Looking for somebody to pass it to. Does. Passes it. McQuaid feeds it inside. The ball tipped up in the air. Stolen again by Minnesota here. So a few turnovers by Michigan State. But Minnesota in the lane. Blocking foul committed by Kenny Goins. So Minnesota will shoot 2 at the line. Score update for you guys. This one tipped off a few minutes ago. Good amount of scoring going on. Purdue is up against Villanova 19-10 with 14 minutes left to go in that game. The only game that remains tonight, Kansas against Auburn. That one tips off in around 50 minutes from now. So here we are at the free throw line with Minnesota. That is not going to help at all. Missed shot at the free throw line by Amir Coffey. 33-18. 38.7 seconds remaining. Second shot goes down from the line. 33-19. As Michigan State takes the ball past the timeline here with Cassius Winston. Winston dribbles left wing of the perimeter, puts that ball into the hands of Aaron Henry. Back into the hands, Matt McQuaid hands it off to Winston. And foul called, offensive foul on the screenplay. So Minnesota here will get the ball with 25.6 seconds remaining. So another turnover. That is 3 straight turnovers, I believe, on 3 straight possessions for Michigan State. 11 turnovers now by the Spartans. Yeah, that is 3 straight turnovers because when I went into commercial break the last time, they were at 8. It was 8-3 in a turnover game, but now Michigan State with 11. So got to protect the ball more for sure. That's the only thing, but they're still up by a lot. 33-19. Minnesota in the lane trying to dribble, and the ball gets tipped out of bounds. They'll have 0.9 seconds remaining on the clock to inbound this for the Golden Gophers. And they only have 19 points to show for it at the half. At least if they can put a 20 on the board, it will look a little better. Let's see if they can do that. 19 is sure low, that's for sure. 2 looks a lot better. Left wing 3, it just gets airballed. And that's the conclusion of the half. Right there as we go into halftime. 33-19, very ugly start for Minnesota. 22% shooting from the field. 7 for 32 at halftime for the Golden Gophers. Michigan State, 61% shooting. Imagine if they could protect the ball and not turn it over those 11 times. This would be a blowout. This would be Gonzaga against Fairleigh Dickinson all over again, like 50-19 or something like that at the half. Instead, it's 33-19, but we're going to see what happens in the second half. Of course, Minnesota has taken way too many three-point shots. Just keeps on forcing it over there. No good looks from behind the arc. 2 shots they've converted on out of 16 attempts from behind the arc for Minnesota. For Michigan State, they are 2 for 7 shooting the ball from three-point range. So Yeah, that basically wraps up the half. The big number here's the rebounds, guys. Michigan State out-rebounding Minnesota 25-10 in the rebounding game. And also, Minnesota has a top 5 rebounder on their team, Jordan Murphy, who averages 11 rebounds per game. He has 1 rebound at the half, 0 point scored by Jordan Murphy. So that's a wrap, basically, how Minnesota's played in the first half. We're going to have to see how the second half goes, but Michigan State, full control here, 33-19 in this one against Minnesota. Michigan State, though, they didn't score a single point for basically the last, 4.5 minutes in this game. So Minnesota, to end the half, basically went on, I think, a 5-0 run. But, yeah, 4 minutes of play and barely any points to show for it for both of these squads. I think 5 points total in the last 4 minutes of the half. But here we are at halftime, 33-19, Michigan State against Minnesota. Gonna look at the leading scores for both of these teams right now. Minnesota leading the way. 12 out of the 19 points have been scored by Amir Coffey of Minnesota. He's shooting the ball at 4 for 12 from the field. Nobody else has been picking it up. Anyway, Isaiah Washington, 5 points off the bench by the Golden Gophers. 2 points by Daniel Aturu, but these guys have been held scoreless. Jordan Murphy, 0 points at halftime. 1 rebound. 0 points. 0 for 5 from the field. Gabe Kalsher. Dupree McBrayer, 0 for 4 from the field. 0 points for Dupree. From Michigan State, the stat numbers look like this in the box score at halftime. 9 points leading the way, Kenny Goins. 6 rebounds by Goins, a steal, and 2 blocks. 7 points. Second on the team in scoring right now, Xavier Tillman. He has an assist and 2 rebounds as well. And then 5 points off the bench, Nick Ward. He also has 4 rebounds. And 3 players over here have 4 points as well. Aaron Henry, Matt McQuaid, and Cassius Winston. Cassius Winston, 7 assists in the first half to add to his profile. So that's how the first half's basically gone between both of these teams. Minnesota just cannot convert from the floor at all during this game. I'm going to update you guys at the scores here. Since we're at halftime, Purdue up against Villanova, 19-12. We have around 12 and a half left to go before halftime there. So, Purdue, Purdue, 7.5 minutes into their game, has scored the same amount of points as Minnesota has at halftime. So, that's how that game's going compared to this one. So, yeah, that just basically says it all. But, yep, now they have more. 22-12, Purdue is up against Villanova at the moment. And Purdue struggled to score points against Old Dominion on Thursday. That game was I think low 60s by Purdue and high 40s scored by Old Dominion in that game. And already Purdue putting 22 points on the board against Villanova. Villanova is a 3-point shooting team, that's for sure. They attempt more 3-point shots than basically almost anybody in college basketball. They attempt 30 3-point shots per game, and right now it's a 22-12 score in that one. But yeah, 11 turnovers so far by Michigan State. Imagine if they hadn't turned the ball over in the first half. This would be a blowout, by halftime. And what is up, TC gang? Thank you so much for joining me back here. Yeah, pretty big blowout in the first half, 33-19. Michigan State has turned over the ball, though, 11 times, though, in that first half. Imagine if they protected the ball and didn't turn it over. This would be like Gonzaga against Fairleigh Dickinson all over again at halftime, basically. But 33-19 at the half. Yeah, same here. Got to get up for tomorrow. This is the late game. I'm glad I didn't stream Auburn against Kansas because that one's so late. I did Central Florida against VCU last night, and then I got up in the morning. I had to do stuff in the morning as well, and then I got back in time to do my first game. But yeah, it's been a long day of basketball for sure. What a great start to the tournament though with that first game. That was just incredible. LSU against Maryland. I'm so glad I did that game. Really great start to the tournament. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. For the people for the late games, if they start like 9 o'clock or later, it's usually just like a West Coast audience. And sometimes it's not even like a West Coast team. It's usually like an East Coast team or so. So that's why I'll be streaming only Duke against UCF tomorrow and North Carolina against Washington tomorrow. Classic. Yep. Either watching me all day or playing hoops. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad I made the day for you right here. Thank you so much. Because yeah, this has been a great time watching basketball games, talking about basketball with people. Wish more people was in the chat, but yeah, this is great. I started out this channel 2 months ago. It's really taken off. Now almost getting there to 100, hopefully really soon. But it seems like everybody enjoys it, so it's been awesome. But yeah, it seems like yesterday there was like a lot of people in the chat for that one, Central Florida against VCU. A lot of people come into the chat usually late. Like if the game is close, like if it's a tie game with like 5 minutes remaining or so, like the one earlier today, LSU against Maryland, that's where people come into the chat. And yep, yes, I will. I'll be doing the national title game on April 8th. So I'll be doing that one. Hopefully I'll be getting like a ton of people in the stream there. Most likely that's where everybody will find me or so. Also, I'm competing against like other people's streams here on YouTube. There's a couple of other people who do like streams of these games. They don't really do like play-by-play. A couple of guys do, but one of the guys does something like he does like live reaction videos and then he does like a Skype call in at the same time. But like when the game's going on, he should be talking about the game, and instead he's talking about like Denver Broncos football with people and stuff like that. Like I tuned in yesterday to his stream I tuned in Thursday after we concluded one of our games just to watch his stream. I think it was on Thursday, Vermont against Florida State. And instead of talking about the game, the guy was just talking about like John Elway and Case Keenum and stuff like that. Like it didn't make sense at all. And then at one point he got up and left, and all you saw was just like a blank chair without him sitting there, and it said like 10 people still watching at the moment. Like I can't believe that they didn't leave there. But yeah, it was mad funny. But yeah. Great game to start off the day, though. Great day of college basketball. Yeah, at first when you do like a MLB stream, if it's like a late game, it depends on who's going to tune in to you. Yeah, yep, definitely. Like for me, I have to make sure that I clear my schedule first to make sure I have nothing on that day or so, because for Thursday and Friday, what I did for the tournament, I have vacation days at work, so I was able to take off my vacation days from work. I told them that I take off those 2 days to cover the tournament though and watch the game. So since I had so many days, I was able to do that, which was awesome to be here. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm only covering North Carolina against Washington, and then Duke against UCF. There's another game earlier, Iowa against Tennessee, but I think if I just do those 2 games, UNC against Washington, UCF against Duke, that should be pretty good. I'm just going to sit down, relax, watch Tennessee against Iowa, not stream that one, because usually the bigger schools with like the larger fan bases get like more people into the chat, and I think that's what's going to happen tomorrow with like UNC and Duke. But like Tennessee, I've done a couple of Tennessee streams, and they haven't really got like a lot of people in the chat there from like Tennessee or so. So I'm just going to watch that one tomorrow. But yeah, Purdue is up 25-15 against Villanova with like 9:50 left to go in the first. Villanova shooting the ball 3 for 9 from 3-point range. Villanova, all they do is basically rely on 3-point shots like the entire way through, basically. But yeah, Auburn against Kansas to close out the night. I remember somebody told me in the chat like a few games ago, asked me if I was going to do the Kansas game tonight. Yeah, I told him no though. That's such a late game. It's gonna start. It says 9:40. By the time it starts, it's more like 10 o'clock, and then it gets over around midnight, and then back up for tomorrow. I mean, that's just like late game. It's just crazy how late that is. But yeah, right now Michigan State just crushing Minnesota at this point. Let's see about tomorrow. There's another late game. UC Irvine against Oregon. That one will start at like 10 o'clock at night. Also, Ohio State against Houston and Oklahoma against Virginia. Those are the three later games of the night. Liberty against Virginia Tech. I won't be able to see that one though because I don't have cable, but that should be a really interesting game. Also, I'm streaming Central Florida against Duke when that one will be tipping off. So, yeah, that game should be interesting though. Liberty against Virginia Tech. Both of those teams are from Virginia in the tournament. So, here's a mid-major going up against a power conference team. I remember when Tyrod Taylor was playing college football, and I remember Virginia Tech, and I think it was like week 2 of the college football season with Tyrod Taylor. They lost against James Madison that year, and Virginia Tech was ranked in the top 25, and I think they went like 10-2 that season, 10-2, and they only had 2 losses, and one of them was to mid-major James Madison from the FCS. But yeah, this day basically a wrap here with college basketball. As basically mostly everybody's bracket is busting up. I'd be shocked if there was like a perfect bracket by now over here. Lots of X's going on in brackets. That was me last year. That's me this year. Last year I took Arizona to the Final Four and they lost to Buffalo in the first round. And this year Arizona didn't even make it into the tournament. Yeah, they're showing the people's brackets here on the stream for like CBS, how they've gone so far, and there's just a lot of red on Charles Barkley's bracket over here. Just a bunch of red. Oh, he took Nevada to the Elite Eight. That's why. But yeah, Charles Barkley took Virginia to win it all. Like, you could absolutely know like nothing about basketball and have like a really, really good bracket, or you could watch like all the games like throughout the season and then still, or be like a basketball analyst and still have like a tough time with your bracket and get like a bunch of X's. It's that crazy how March Madness works because of all these teams that pull off upsets that you don't expect, like Ohio State yesterday against Iowa State. Like, Ohio State was right on the bubble. Like, some of the people didn't expect them to be in the tournament, and they're so glad they got that second chance. And yeah, they beat Iowa State, the Big 12 title champs, yesterday. So the winner of this game, Michigan State, Minnesota, will take on LSU in the Sweet 16. And it looks like this, the Sweet 16 matchups. It looks like Kentucky is playing on Friday of the Sweet 16. Michigan on Thursday. We're just updating you guys with the scores right now in college basketball. Gonzaga against Baylor. The score is 70-58. Gonzaga up by 12. against Baylor with 5:38 left to go in that game. Villanova against Purdue. Purdue was up by 8, 27-19, with 7:45 left to go before halftime. And, of course, Auburn against Kansas. That game tips off around 45 minutes from now. So we might even be finished with a stream when Auburn, Kansas basically is set to tip off. But, yeah, Gonzaga against Baylor down to the final 5.5 left to go in that game. But the Zags now with a 12-point advantage at this moment. And what a game. Looks like Brandon Clark had a huge game for Gonzaga. 30 points on the game so far by Brandon Clark. It's 70-59. Gonzaga up by 11 against Baylor. Carson Edwards once again. 12 points by Purdue so far for Carson Edwards. 27-19. Purdue is leading that game by 8. Colin Gillespie leading the way for the defending national champs. The Villanova Wildcats, 8 points so far for Colin. Ooh. So yeah, this halftime has gone on for like quite a long time right now. Hopefully I'll be able to get back to action shortly here after this halftime, because this is just dragged on. Well, let's see that schedule for tomorrow here. So Sunday, it's Iowa against Tennessee. That's the early game at 12:10. I'm going to start doing streaming at 2:40 tomorrow, Washington against North Carolina. So I'll take off that Iowa against Tennessee game. 5:15 also back with Central Florida against Duke. There's other games going on tomorrow that I won't stream. These are the ones. Buffalo against Texas Tech at 6:10. Liberty against Virginia Tech at 7:10, 7:45. Oklahoma against Virginia, 8:40. Ohio State against Houston, and 9:40. UC Irvine against Oregon, a 13 versus 12 matchup. Who would have known that both of those teams would advance, and a high seed, either a 13 or a 12, will advance to the Sweet 16. So it'll be interesting. Who advances to the Sweet 16? UC Irvine or Oregon? Of course, UC Irvine with a record of 31-5 overall against Oregon with a record of 24-12 this season. UC Irvine coming off the win against Kansas State in the last game on Friday yesterday. 70-64. UC Irvine has not lost this year, I believe. Let's see the last time they lost. The last time they lost, there was a 10-point loss against Long Beach State, 80-70. And, so that was actually this year, back on January 16th. So over 2 months ago was the last time that UC Irvine ever lost a game. And then after that loss, they've just went on a huge winning streak, and now with a record of 31-5. I should have took note of this. UC Irvine beat these two teams. One of them's a power conference team. One of them was in the tournament. UC Irvine beat Texas A&M 74-73. They also beat St. Mary's 80-75. And they beat Montana too. Montana was in the tournament. So there's a couple of crucial wins right there for UC Irvine. For Oregon, Oregon struggled throughout the season. At the course of the season, they're on a 9-game win streak, 24-12 overall. One of the worst losses in college basketball history Oregon had. They lost against Texas Southern, 89-84, back in non-conference play when they had Bol Bol on the roster, who's like a top 15 NBA draft pick. Bol Bol got injured back in late December, and is out for the season. But without him, the Oregon Ducks, what Dana Altman's done is just incredible what Dana Altman has done with the Oregon Duck squad, now in a 9-game winning streak. Looking to beat UC Irvine tomorrow. The big key here, of course, Jordan Murphy, the leading rebounder from Minnesota, top 5 rebounder in all college basketball, and he has 0 points, 1 rebound at the half. Of course, you have to integrate Murphy more into this game if you're the Golden Gophers in the second half. Really didn't play a ton of minutes either for Jordan Murphy. And actually, yeah, what happened? Yeah, I didn't know that until now. They were doing their halftime report here about Jordan Murphy. Is that he's on the bench for the rest of the game. He had trouble moving from side to side on the court. So that's why he got taken out of the game. So with Jordan Murphy out of the game, this Minnesota team's basically nothing on the court. But here we are, back to action. Second half here, 33-19, Michigan State with the ball first. Cassius Winston here, top of the key. He passes right wing perimeter here for the Spartans, back to Winston. Dribbling right wing of the perimeter here. Winston with 5 on the shot clock. Takes the 3-point shot. No good off the top of the iron. Big rebound, but he falls right on his back as that is a rebounding foul on the play. First foul charge committed by Minnesota as Michigan State tried to go up top for the rebound. They grabbed the rebound, but they went down hard on their back to the ground. So not so golden tonight with those two players. Gabe Kalsher and Jordan Murphy, both of those players, 0 points from the field. We're back to action here. Michigan State off the inbound, 33-19, 19-20 left to go. They feed it up top, over the top, underneath the backboard, up and in, and the foul as well. Going to the line for one, Xavier Tillman. 35-19 right now. Just too much right there for Xavier Tillman. Up and in off the backboard as he was guarded by number 21, Jarvis Omersa of Minnesota. We have 19-19 left to go. Shot at the free throw line. It goes down right there for Michigan State. Make it 36 on the board. 36-19. Minnesota with the ball now, passing off top of the key to Gabe Kalsher, left wing perimeter here. Amir Coffee, top of the key here for Minnesota. Back to the left wing perimeter for the Golden Gophers. They try to take it inside there at the free throw circle. They pass back outside, trying to make their move inside. A foul called with 18:54 left to go. And Xavier Tillman. Ooh, gosh, Xavier Tillman looks hurt on the play, like he's grabbing his eye right now. Looked like he might have got poked in the eye on the play. That's not good. Michigan State. Minnesota's at the free throw line. They are down by a bunch. They finally get a point in the second half. 36-20. Second shot, make it 21. So they hit them both. We have 18:50 left to go in this game. Michigan State has the ball now. 36-21 the score as I update you guys here in the chat. Michigan State now. Free throw circle, McQuaid. He passes that one and back to Matt McQuaid. Catch and shoot. Left wing three. No good by Matt McQuaid. Rebounded by Minnesota. 15-point lead by the Spartans. The lob up top and the missed alley-oop jam by Minnesota. Jarvis Omersa had a chance to slam it down, and he missed it. Michigan State with the ball now. Kenny Goins passes it top of the key to Cassius Winston. Winston with 18:15 remaining. Left wing of that three-point perimeter. Dribbles towards the top of the key. Cassius Winston with 18:05 remaining. 10 on the shot clock here. Winston, right elbow, feeds the ball inside, backing his way in there. Oh, what a block from behind by Amir Coffee. Michigan State gets the ball back. Try to shoot the three-pointer. Couldn't. Offensive rebound, though, by the Spartans. They set up the offense here. Matt McQuaid with the ball. Puts it into the hands of Cassius Winston. 17:45 left to go. 36-21 is the score. Michigan State up by 15. Jumper knocks it down at the free throw circle. 38-21 as the shot goes down for Matt McQuaid. We have 17.5 left to go. Minnesota passing around the perimeter here now. Right wing that three-point perimeter. Amir Coffey trying to dribble inside. Maybe a push-off, but the refs don't call it. Missed a jumper anyway. Rebounded by Tillman of Michigan State. So Michigan State now with the ball. Slowing tempo. Left wing perimeter. Winston dribbling towards the right. Trying to go past defenders. Reach and foul committed by Minnesota with 17:04 left to go. 38-21. Michigan State with an inbound. They were dribbling around the perimeter and they lost control. The ball goes out of bounds with 17:01 left to go. So another turnover by Michigan State. I believe that is their 12th of the game. 12 turnovers so far by the Spartans. Minnesota with the ball, backing their way inside low post in the key. Banks at home right there. Getting that shot to fall. Daniel Aturu finally getting another bucket. He started out with the first 2 points of the game, trying to go in the lane. Winston, and he gets fouled with 16:42 left to go. Going to update you guys with a score once again, 38-23. At this moment, Michigan State with a lead. We have 16:42 left to go. Cassius Winston at the free throw line from Michigan State. He's a perfect 20 for 20 at the free throw line during March Madness tournaments. Make it 21 for 21. 39-23. Cassius Winston at the charity stripe just pounded that one. He'll go back for his second one here at the free throw line. And knocks it down. 40 points on the board for Michigan State. 40-23. Minnesota with the ball. Gabe Kalsher, no points on the board for his profile today. 3 fouls for him. Minnesota trying to take it inside. A huge block by Michigan State. As they get the ball, they take it past the timeline. Cassius Winston, top of the key here for the Spartans. He tries to take it inside, fed it down inside the low post, and it's stolen away by Minnesota. Another turnover by Michigan State in the lane. Baseline goes, banks at home with a jumper right there by Amir Coffey. He basically has like 85% of the points right now for his team today. 40-25, Michigan State up by 15. Coffey with 16 out of the 25 points in this game. Looks like we have a turnover again committed by Michigan State on the play. Wow. With 15:58 left to go. Michigan State keeps on turning over the ball here. It's keeping Minnesota in the game. Minnesota cannot hit shots at all. That's why there's a 15-point differential between the two. Updating you guys with a score. 15:58 left to go in this one. 40-25 is the score at the moment. Michigan State shooting the ball 55% from the floor. Minnesota 24%. They are shooting 9 for 37 from the floor. And look at those rebounds. Michigan State out-rebounding Minnesota 31-11. But this has been the key. Minnesota has turned the ball over 3 times in this game. 14 turnovers by Michigan State. So did I see the waffle in the chicken? Yeah, I think I did on the screen. That was like a little bit ago. Yeah. That was mad funny. Going into like the commercial break. Yeah, that was mad funny. Sometimes at some of the colleges they have like these like random signs that like people hold up at the games with like people's like faces on like the signs and stuff like that they hold up right behind like the basket or so in the student section. It's like mad funny what sometimes some people manage to do. But Yeah, even with like 14 turnovers in this game, Michigan State still has a comfortable lead. Of course, Tom Izzo can't be pleased about the 14 turnovers, but the shooting percentage at least is good. Minnesota just cannot shoot the ball from the field at all. Just like just barely over 20% from the field for Minnesota today. As we're going to have a final alert in a few minutes from now. Gonzaga up against Baylor, 78-69 at the moment. 45 seconds remaining in that game. Let's see how Villanova and Purdue is doing. It's a crushing defeat here in this game. Purdue is up against the defending national champs. 37-22. Purdue leading Villanova with 2:45 left to go before halftime. So this is just, wow, what a day of college basketball. Purdue just crushing Villanova at the moment. But yeah, Gonzaga looking good right now. Up by 10 against Baylor. 40 seconds remaining in that game. We'll get back to action momentarily. Michigan State, Minnesota. We are currently on a commercial break. When we do get back to action, we'll have 15:58 left to go in this game. A terrible shooting display by the Minnesota Golden Gophers in this one. Minnesota also shooting the ball 2 for 16 from behind the arc in this game. That hasn't helped at all. Just a bad shooting display here by the Golden Gophers. So Jaden FP, am I doing the Kansas game? No, I will not be doing the Kansas game tonight. This is my last game for tonight. I'll be doing. That game starts out like really late. Like by the time I do that, because I'm not like out from like the western half of the US. Like I'm not from like the Midwest or out towards the Pacific region. I'm from the Northeast, so right after this game, I'm gonna go to bed after this one. So this is my last stream of the game. Slam dunk right there with a hammer doing for Minnesota, down by 13 right now. So maybe they needed that. Amir Coffey has 18 out of the 27 points. Foul on the play. Another offensive turnover on the play by Michigan State. Tom Izzo cannot be pleased. That is 15 turnovers by MSU. And Amir Coffey jamming it with authority. That is crazy. 18 points against Louisville, 18 tonight. Imagine if Jordan Murphy was in this game, if he was able to move well. Kalsher trying to beat the defender right there, and he gets fouled. Gabe Kalsher will go to the line to shoot some free throws here for Minnesota. This is just, oh my goodness, right now. This is crazy. Minnesota's down by 13, but they are at the free throw line. 40-27, 15-26 left to go. First shot knocks that one down by Kalsher. This would be crazy if they could put a comeback together or something. That's ridiculous, especially shooting like 20% from the field this entire game. Second one knocks it down right there by Kalsher. 40-29 at the moment. Finally, Kalsher got to score. This looks like a whole new Minnesota team off towards the bench area. Michigan State with the ball, right wing of that three-point perimeter. McQuaid puts the ball into the hands of Winston. Top of the key here for Michigan State. Hold your horses. This game's going to get great. Even with the large lead Michigan State had, this can go either way at the moment. Nick Ward underneath the basket. A lot of bodies. Ward tangled up, tried to float up the shot. No good. Minnesota tried to go in for the rebound. Foul called on the play with 14:54 remaining. And it's a foul on the rebound committed by Michigan State. Oh, man, this game has just turned absolute haywire. This is an 11-point game at the moment. Michigan State was blowing out Minnesota, up by 20 in the first half. This is just a totally different Minnesota team here coming out these past few minutes off that slam dunk. It seems like they finally got an energy burst in there. Minnesota trying to go inside, and that shot blocked out of bounds with 14:42 left to go. Jordan Murphy is loving it. This is a team that's getting out-rebounded 31-12 on the boards, but for some reason they are hanging in there because Michigan State has turned over the ball 15 times in this game. And Minnesota, that ball was blocked out of bounds, but Amir Coffey goes to the free throw line. Coffey has 19. 40-30 right now. Michigan State has just stopped scoring. A complete halt in the scoring. Amir Coffey says, no, I will not stop scoring. Hit them both single-digit points now, guys. 40-31. Michigan State gets trapped, trying to get past the double team. They do. 8-0 run in the past minute and 40 for Minnesota. This is a whole new ball game, guys. If you're new to the channel, hit the like button down below. Hit subscribe as well. Michigan State with the ball, top of the key with Cassius Winston. Winston with the ball, 5 on the shot clock. Dribbling baseline. Hands it off. Top of the key, 3. Goins. No good. Shot clock violation. Ball going back to Minnesota. Oh, man. This is insane. You turn it over 16 times in a game, and we still have 14-12 remaining. That's going to be 4 turnovers in a row right now for Michigan State. 16 turnovers today in this game. 18 points off of those turnovers by Minnesota. 14 minutes remaining. Jumper. No good by the Golden Gophers. Body's inside. Cassius Winston gets the rebound. 13:50 left to go in this one. 40-31. This is a whole new Minnesota team in the past 3 minutes of this one off the Amir Coffey slam dunk. 33-12 is the rebounding advantage going towards Michigan State. Michigan State with the ball underneath the basket. Looking for somebody's open. They do. Pass it out. Right wing perimeter. Winston. Step back. Deep 2. Knocks that one down at the deep 2 right elbow. 42-31. Finally, something went down there for Michigan State. They're up by 11 once again. 42-31. Cassius with 8.7 assists. 13-10 left to go. Minnesota with the ball. They get it stolen on the court. Bodies collide. And a foul committed by Minnesota. So Minnesota committed the foul as Gabe Kalsher knocked into Cassius Winston on the floor. Cassius Winston down on the ground. He is okay, though. He's able to get up. So that is good news for the Spartans. Need him. Top 5 point guard in all college basketball. As we see that last shot made by Cassius Winston. Step back deep 2. Right elbow bucket. Got it to fall. But here we are back to action. Gabe Kalsher in foul trouble for Minnesota. 4 fouls right now, 2 points. Cassius Winston floats up the shot and connects with it. He has the last 4 points for the Spartans. Senior leadership with this guy. A lot of senior leadership. Gotta love Cassius Winston. 10 points, 7 assists at the moment. So he's in double-digit points. Minnesota with the ball. They feed it to Aturu. Trying to go left side baseline. Kicks it back outside. Stolen away by Michigan State. 2-on-1 numbers. 3-ball Winston. Knocks it down in transition. Cassius Winston. The past 7 points for Michigan State. 47-31. The last 7 points coming out of the break. The last 9 points total in this game by Cassius Winston, taking it over with 12:26 left to go. 47-31 right now. It's the Cassius Winston show in this game for Michigan State. We'll be back right after this commercial break. This is Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. So right now we look to those point totals. Amir Coffey with 20 points, but he needs a heck of a lot more effort from his teammates here from Minnesota. 4 points by Daniel Aturu, 5 by Isaiah Washington off the bench, 2 points by Gabe Kalsher, along with 4 fouls he's committed as well. Jordan Murphy started the game. He got injured. He could not move well on the court, so he's sitting out now, the leading rebounder. And this game right now, it was close a few minutes ago. 40-31, but Cassius Winston knocks down 7 points in a row. And Michigan State's up 47-31 heading into that TV timeout. I can only imagine Cassius Winston's taking over this game for the Spartans. Let's look at these totals. Cassius Winston leading the team in scoring, 13 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals at the moment. 10 points, Xavier Tillman. Second on the team in scoring, 5 rebounds, 9 points by Kenny Goins, and 7 rebounds as well for Michigan State. Not a clean game at all that's been played by the Spartans. 16 turnovers. Minnesota's turned it over 5 times, but if you want to hear this stat, you got to hear about it on the rebounding advantage. Michigan State has 33 rebounds in this game. Minnesota has 12. That is a 21 rebounding differential on the boards, plus 21 for Michigan State. Amir Coffey with 20 points out of the 31 from Minnesota right now, but Gonzaga gets the W against Baylor. Gonzaga wins 83-71. How about this score? At halftime, Purdue is beating Villanova 43-24. So at halftime, the defending national champs, the Villanova Wildcats, are losing by 19 points, 43-24 against Purdue. And yes, that is true. Minnesota hasn't been able to get those scoring chances because Michigan State has been able to steal the ball as well. But wow, this is crazy. It's all Purdue in that game at halftime between Purdue and Villanova. Boilermakers of Purdue looking dangerous right now, 43-24. I had them out in the first round, losing to Old Dominion. I thought that Purdue wouldn't be able to play at a neutral court, and they will lose that game. They had trouble all season long at away games and neutral court games, but oh yeah, yep, that's what I mean. I think they have 7 steals in the game right now. They have 7 steals from Minnesota. So having trouble with the boards, but when Michigan State gets those boards, Minnesota's able to make up for it with the steals. But right now, 16-point game, 47-31, 12:26 remaining. As here we are back to action. This is a 7-0 scoring run in the past minute because of one man on the Michigan State squad, Cassius Winston. Here we are back to action. Minnesota with the ball, top of the key. They pass it left wing of the perimeter here for the Golden Gophers. Dupree McBrayer, he passes left corner back to the left wing. Deep 3, and it's an air ball out of bounds. Amir Coffey airball that one. He's been doing so well today. 20 points for Amir out of the 31. No help from his teammates, but he just airballed that one. Michigan State with an inbound. And almost another steal by Minnesota, but it's a reach-in foul call with 12:01 left to go. I think, okay, that's a Mercer, 21, who picked up the foul from Minnesota. I thought that was Kalsher. If that was Kalsher, he's out of the game. He already has 4 fouls committed. Jarvis Omersa with 4 as well. This is a very thin bench for Minnesota. 4 fouls by Jarvis Omersa, 4 fouls by Gabe Kalsher. We still have 11:50 remaining in this game. Matt McQuaid with the ball from Michigan State. Nice pass. Winston to his man Tillman in the low post. Couldn't get it home the first time. Second time, second chance point right there. Lays it and puts it right up and in off the glass. 49-31. 11:35 remaining. 12 points by Tillman. 6 rebounds. No problem. Thank you so much for joining me, man. Enjoy the rest of the game as Minnesota gets past the defense, slams it down. Man, your mom must have... Yeah, she went nuts, you were telling me, when Cassius Winston scored those 7 points in a row. But yeah, 49-33 is the current score in this one. With 11 minutes remaining. Michigan State with the ball, right wing of the 3-point perimeter. McQuaid looking for the open man, finds Winston now. He's at the right wing. He passes it left wing 3. Henry knocks it down by Aaron Henry. 52-33. The pounding continues. When Minnesota was back in this game because of so many turnovers by Michigan State, but these 3-point shots have been going down for MSU. In the lane, what a block from behind by Xavier Tillman. Ball goes out of bounds with 10:35 left to go. I think everybody after this game just wants this one to basically end. It's going by so slow, too. Too many TV timeouts. A lot of stoppage in time. 10:35 remaining. It's 52-33. Right now, Michigan State is up. We had some surprising basketball action all throughout today. Purdue up at halftime against Villanova, 43-24. Carson Edwards scoring 17 of those points. In Michigan State right now, 52-33, up by 19 at the moment. Gonzaga with a win today against Baylor, 83-71 in that game. But yeah, the shooting percentage has told the difference in this game. Minnesota shooting the ball at 26% from the field. Michigan State at 57% from the field. On the rebounding advantage here, Michigan State out-rebounding Minnesota 35-13 at this stage of the game. That's just an insane plus 22 on the rebounding edge right now. But 16 turnovers by Michigan State. 7 of those have been steals by Minnesota. So Minnesota's been able to steal the ball quite often in this one to get back a little bit. They did get it back to 9. It was 40-31, but Cassius Winston took over 7 points in a row in 1 minute. And right now it's all Michigan State 52-33. So looking like MSU will move on to the next round to take on LSU. Most likely. As this is Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. Make sure to hit that like button, guys. Subscribe to my channel down below as I do play-by-play of March Madness games. So stay in the know throughout the tournament here with Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. So right now, just on the commercial break between Michigan State and Minnesota. It's a pretty big blowout in this one, I'd have to say, at this point of the game right now. Yeah, Cassius Winston in this game. He's just taking full control of this one for Cassius Winston. 7 points in a row in a minute, basically, for Cassius. Going to go over those box score numbers for you guys to look at what Cassius Winston's done in this game. 13 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals for Cassius today. So quite the game here for Cassius Winston. Here we are back to action. Minnesota with the ball, dribbling in the key, and another foul call with 10:31 left to go. Auburn against Kansas basically tips off in 20 minutes from now. So like around 10 o'clock tonight will be the tip-off of that game. 52-33 is the score. Michigan State, of course, up by 19. Minnesota with the ball, and they put it into the net right there with 10:20 remaining. So now it's 52-35 as they update the score here on Behind the Arc Basketball on YouTube. Michigan State left wing three. McQuaid knocks that one down by Matt McQuaid from the outside right there. Showing you the trifecta touch. 20-point lead by MSU. 10 minutes left to go. 55-35. Minnesota getting out-rebounded on the boards by a large margin in this one. 9:50 left to go. Minnesota with the ball at the right wing of the perimeter now, right baseline. So Matt McQuaid, shooting percentage from the floor, I think it's around, his like 3-point shooting percentage Has to be around like 43% or so from the floor. He's a really, really good three-point shooter. That's a turnover on the floor right there by Minnesota. Ball will go back to Michigan State. Gonna look up, see what that shooting percentage is, but I think it's like low 40s from three-point range for Matt McQuaid. If I go into the Big Ten statistics here, we're back to action. Michigan State with the ball. They take it past the timeline with Cassius Winston passing it off right elbow. And they feed it down inside the low post. Aaron Henry with a backdoor cut. Throws that one into Xavier Tillman, who jams it down. Henry to Tillman in the low post, 57-35. Michigan State's up by 22 at the moment. Minnesota trying to go low post. They bank the shot home, and they'll go to the line for one. So 57-37, yeah. Matt McQuaid shooting the ball from behind the arc this season. He's a 43% three-point shooter, and he also ranks third in the Big Ten in three-point shooting percentage at the moment. So I'm going to update you guys with a score here in the chat. It's 57-37 at the moment. Michigan State with a pounding today with 9:03 left to go. 20-point game between both of these teams. 20-point pounding by MSU, but imagine how good Michigan State was today, that how many times they turned the ball over in this game. They've turned it over a lot. Shot at the free throw line goes down, but Michigan State in this game turned the ball over. I'm going to get you that stat. They turned the ball over 16 times. 16 turnovers by Michigan State. 23 points by Amir Coffey tonight from Minnesota out of the 33. He's got like barely any help. Jumper in the key goes down right there for the Spartans, 59-38. A blowout fashion here. So Michigan State moving on to the Sweet 16 to take on LSU with the last 8:30 left to go in this game. 21-point lead. Minnesota down inside the low post. No good. Air ball. Rebounded by Nick Ward as he puts that into the hands of Cassius Winston. Cassius Winston a few minutes ago had 7 points in 1 minute in the game. He took over the complete game. Minnesota cut the Michigan State lead to 9. It was 40-31, and just like that, a minute later, 47-31, just all because of Cassius Winston. Winston with the ball, trying to go in the lane, missed the layup. There's he tried to float it past the Minnesota defender, rebounded by the Golden Gophers. Oh, yeah, the turning point for sure. Cassius Winston going off in 1 minute in that game, 7 points in a time span of 1 minute. Minnesota now with the ball. Right wing three from the outside. No good. Hits the top of the iron by Dupree McBrayer. Rebounded by Michigan State. Terrible shooting performance by Minnesota. 28% today from the field. Also, look at these rebounds. Michigan State is out-rebounded Minnesota in this game, 37-14. They have a plus 23 on the boards right now. Turnover, though, steal by Minnesota. 2-on-1 advantage. Trying to lay it up, and then they do in a fast break. Minnesota has been there with the steals. That's their 8th steal of the game. Michigan State's turned over the ball 17 times in this one, 59-40. 7 minutes remain. Cassius Winston, right wing. Kenny Goins right there, passes it. Left wing, Henry feeds it down low. Lob pass, Nick Ward. Back outside to Henry. Top of the key here. Aaron Henry back to Ward. Underneath the basket. Nick Ward banks it home, up and in. 61-40. If Jordan Murphy could have played today, Minnesota really could have used that help, but he only played the first few minutes of the game, the leading rebounder in the Big Ten, 5th in rebounds in college basketball. Jumper in the key, no good by Minnesota. Offensive rebound, foul called on the play with 6:25 left. But Jordan Murphy hurt himself in like the first 5 minutes of this game for Minnesota. He's the leading rebounder for the team, top 5 rebounds in all college basketball. And in the round of 32, he wasn't able to show for it because he started the game, played 5 minutes, and got hurt. But this is the box score here for Minnesota. It just runs through Amir Coffey. Over 50% of the team's points have been scored by one player from Minnesota, Amir Coffey, who has 23 out of the 40. From Michigan State, the points look like this. Leading the way, Xavier Tillman, 14.6 rebounds. Cassius Winston, 13 points. He got 7 points in 1 minute in the game. The turning point in that one. 13 points by Cassius. 8 assists, 2 steals, 4 rebounds today by Cassius. Kenny Goins, 9 points, 8 rebounds. Aaron Henry, 9 points, 8 rebounds. And 7 points by Nick Ward and 5 rebounds as well. So that is the scoring profile there and the box score from Michigan State. It's just been a total difference and a rebounding advantage here for the Spartans. Michigan State, a plus 22 on the boards at the moment. Out-rebounding Minnesota 35-15. 17 turnovers by Tom Izzo's squad. Of course, Izzo cannot be pleased of that, but at least they can work on something when they go back this week before the Sweet 16 or so. Of course, Izzo wasn't pleased at their performance against Bradley. They get Minnesota in this game, turn the ball over 17 times, but they are still up by 21 points, 61-40. Yep, Jordan Murphy getting hurt in the first 5 minutes of the game for Minnesota really cost them the game because there's just like not really any rebounding there for Minnesota after him. It's just not been a good shooting performance at all from Minnesota today. Shooting the ball from the field, 14 for 48 shooting. Michigan State's 25 for 42 from the field. Michigan State shooting at 60% from the field. Minnesota at 29%. And that loss for Jordan Murphy really hurt the Golden Gophers. 0 points by Murphy, 1 rebound on the bench for the rest of the game. He could not move from side to side at all, as they did their halftime report talking about him as he took off his game jersey, basically not suited up in his game jersey anymore, just in his Minnesota Golden Gophers t-shirt, just to support his team on the bench right now. 23 points by Amir Coffey. Gabe Kalshers had a pretty bad day shooting, 0 for 5, 2 points. Both of those points at the free throw line. 8 points by Daniel Aturu. Jarvis Amersa, 0 for 3 from the field. And Michael Hurt off the bench, 2 points for Minnesota. Also, Isaiah Washington, 5 points. The third leading scorer for Minnesota right now with 5 points. So here we are back at the free throw line with Minnesota. Jarvis Omersa, the freshman, in the game at the free throw line, down by 21 for the Golden Gophers. No good. He missed that shot at the free throw line. That will hurt. That will hurt throughout the rest of the game right there. They are down anyway by 21, so doesn't really matter at this point. Michigan State with a rebound. They take it past the timeline with Winston. Pass it off. Left corner 3, McQuaid. No good from the outside, but there was an offensive foul on the play committed before that shot by Michigan State. So turnover once again to Minnesota. 9 fouls committed by Michigan State. 4 fouls as well committed by Kenny Goins. And Minnesota gets the ball. So favorite player to watch out of all the teams here. I really do like Cassius Winston from Michigan State in this tournament. Really like Cassius Winston. Players to watch for though. There's a couple of teams out there that have pretty good players that I've liked throughout college basketball or so. Of course, North Carolina, though, has to be my favorite. Luke May is one of my favorite players. Really good rebounder, pretty good shooter as well. Has a bunch of double-doubles this season. I really like North Carolina with Luke May, Cameron Johnson, Kobe White. As that's a steal by Minnesota. They controlled inside, and oh no, they could not lay it in. Too strong off the glass right there. Rebounded by Michigan State. An open net in Minnesota cannot hit the shot. McQuaid feeds it to Ward in the low paint. Ward misses the first. Makes the second one right there. And hits home the shot. 63-40 right now. 5 minutes remaining. right wing of the three-point perimeter here. They try to take it inside. Minnesota does get a bucket to fall 63-42 at this point of the game. 4:50 left to go. As this one will wrap up my streams for tonight. There's a beatdown going on. Purdue is crushing the defending national champions Villanova. 48-24 Purdue with a 24-point lead. 17-10 left to go in that game. 4.5 remaining. Winston with the ball. And that ball knocked out of bounds. Another turnover on the play by Michigan State. Ball goes back to Minnesota. Still 63-42. As Minnesota has it. Left wing in that three-point perimeter. They feed it now inside low post. Back it out. Top of the key here. Yeah, that seems like that's going to happen to Villanova tonight. They are down 51-24 right now, but I saw that coming this season. I knew that Villanova wasn't that strong. As I watched some of their games this season, and all they do is basically take three-point shots. So basically their entire game relies on if they can hit the three-point shot or not. And it looks like Purdue game planned for that. And Matt Painter and his squad will be able to get the W in that one. 16.5 left to go. Purdue is up 51-24 against Villanova. 3:40 left here. Michigan State up by 21. Left wing with Aaron Henry dribbling left side baseline. And deep two, shot clock violation. Couldn't get it off before the shot clock. It was blocked anyway by Minnesota. And Tom Izzo just... you just can't believe it. That's 20 turnovers on the game by Michigan State. If you're playing another team right now, if you are playing the Minnesota team with Jordan Murphy, this would be a totally different ball game in this one. Michigan State got so lucky in this game to play the game without Jordan Murphy, because that would be a totally different outcome in this one. The rebounding advantage is just insane right now for Michigan State. Out-rebounding Minnesota 42-15 because Murphy is not in the game for the Golden Gophers. We have 3.5 left to go before we wrap it up for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. North Carolina taking on Washington in the first game. That will take place at 2:40. So that'll be my first stream tomorrow. UNC against Washington. UCF taking on Duke. The game after that will take place at 5:15. Around that time, I'll have that stream as well. But yeah, Michigan State scoring 63 points, but 21 turnovers on the day. Of course, Tom Izzo cannot be pleased about that. Could not be pleased about the performance against Bradley. It transfers over here. Now you're taking on an LSU squad that ranks like top 15 in all college basketball in points scored per game. So it's going to get tougher. The competition will get so tougher against LSU coming up next in the Sweet 16 for Michigan State. If Michigan State plays like that, well, there's no way they're going to be able to beat LSU in that game. That is for sure. But yeah, that's going to be a good game. Two of the top point guards in college basketball this season. Cassius Winston going up against Tremont Waters of LSU in the Sweet 16. That will be a great game to watch out for. Hopefully, I'll be able to have that stream on my channel. But yeah, Villanova, they are getting crushed right now. 56-24. They are losing by 32 points against Purdue. And basically what Villanova does, they're highly reliant upon three-point shooting. If they cannot hit the three-point shot, like they're probably shooting in desperation right now, then they're in deep trouble. And in this game, Villanova shooting the ball 3 for 18 from three-point range against Purdue at the moment. And yes, Tremont Waters again had the game-winning layup with a second remaining. So Tremont Waters took it to the rim himself, laid it up and in off the backboard. It went up and in with a second remaining, and LSU won the game. That stream was crazy today, the LSU against Maryland stream. I got people from all over watching that game in the chat. Like, people were coming in left and right. One of the people in the chat was from, like, Ecuador in my chat. Like, another person in the chat was from, like, Montreal, Canada. Like, it was crazy how many people tuned in for that game earlier today. But like crazy games like that get so many people to tune in. But yeah, Michigan State will look to play Purdue as well. Oh, wow. So you're from Toronto. That's awesome. So we get some Canada on my channel. That is awesome. That's great. We get back to action. Minnesota in the key. No good. Tipping, though. Falls 63-44. So, yeah, you must be excited for the Blue Jays season to start. And for Vlad Jr. for the Blue Jays. Or so 63-44. Amir Coffey has 25 out of the 44 points right now for Minnesota. Jumper by Michigan State. No good. Rebounded by Minnesota. Under 3 left to play. They take it past the timeline here. Right corner 3 by the Golden Gophers. No good. Hits the top of the iron. They do get the rebound, though, inside. They feed it down low, up and in off the basket right there for Jarvis Omersa. Gets it to fall 63-46. Yeah, the Blue Jays have some really young talent coming up with their farm squad right now. I think they have a couple like key players in there with their farm squad, with Vlad Jr., also Craig Biggio's son as well inside that farm squad. Stolen ball by Minnesota. They get it back, trying to go inside. The ball bouncing on the ground. Minnesota does have it at the right wing of the three-point perimeter. They feed it inside, up and in off the backboard. It goes home right there for Jarvis Omersa, getting back-to-back points right there in the paint. 63-48. 8-0 run in the past 3 minutes for the Golden Gophers. Michigan State with the ball here, top of the key. They feed it down low underneath the basket. McQuaid will take it back outside. Just chew up clock here for Michigan State. As Winston has the ball, top of the key, dribbling 6 on the shot clock. Right elbow, he feeds it inside. Jumper. Thomas Kithier off the bench for Michigan State hits it home. 65-48, a minute 37 left to go. A timeout on the floor. Looks like some substitutes will get in the game here for Minnesota. So Matt McQuaid and Cassius Winston just got taken out of the game because such of a big lead here by Michigan State. We have a minute 37 left to go. A standing ovation for the Michigan State squad with Cassius Winston and Matt McQuaid today. And Jordan Murphy, even though he's hurt, looks like he's going back into the lineup. So a standing ovation as well. So a timeout was taken to put some subs back in the game. No matter what happened in this game, everybody just took a standing ovation there. So Jordan Murphy, even though he could barely move on the court, he's in the game for the last minute and 30. And the foul call with 1:27 left to go. Yeah, a lot of young talent right there in the Blue Jays farm system. So, yeah, honestly, they might be a contender like 5-6 years from now for like the World Series or so. Where I'm from Massachusetts, so it's like all Red Sox around here. So the Red Sox system, yep. So the Red Sox, so yeah, I'm a Red Sox fan, but yeah, it's basically just the stacked like system on top for the MLB for the Red Sox. But as for like young talent coming up, there's not really anything in like Pawtucket or Portland right now for their farm systems. First shot goes down at the free throw line by Amir Coffey of Minnesota. He had a great game today. The rest of the team just couldn't pick it up today for the Golden Gophers. 25 points on the game by Coffey. But yeah, I actually live like 15 minutes away from McCoy Stadium in Pawtucket. Oh yeah, the 1 year rebuild for the Red Sox was crazy. I remember when they used to have John Farrell as the manager when I was back in high school, and they were having records like they were having like 60-win seasons with him. 65-50 the score right now. A minute and 20 left to go. 15-point lead as the subs are in from Michigan State. They have a left wing of the perimeter here. Top of the key, Kithier. He passes that ball off. Foster Lawyer or Jack Hoiberg passes that one off. That's a 3-point shot from the top of the key right there from Michigan State. That was Marcus Bingham, number 30, a bench player, just hit the three-point shot. Rebounded by Michigan State. Minnesota just missed that shot, and we have 50.9 seconds remaining. $68-50 at the moment. That's pretty cool, though, that since you're like from Toronto, you must probably have gone to like the Rogers Center a couple of times in your life. So that's pretty awesome. Or so that you're not too far from the Rogers Center. That's like one of the stadiums that I definitely would like to go to sometime. Both of the free throws goes down right there by Michigan State. It's a 70-50 game. It's been a blowout since the start. I've never actually been to Fenway, even though I'm from Mass. I'm around like 50 minutes south of Boston, but I'm like 20 minutes from Providence. I'm close to like Pawtucket where they have the Paw Sox games. But this is it for the Paw Sox, basically. Their last season is this year, and then they're moving to Worcester, Mass. So they're actually moving further away from me. So they're moving from Pawtucket, Rhode Island to Worcester, Mass. So central Massachusetts, basically. So the Paw Sox are becoming the Woo Sox next season. So this is it for the Paw Sox. And a 70-50 game over here. Looks like this one will go final about 30 seconds from now. All the subs are in the game for both of the teams. Just running down the clock here. 20 seconds left to go. I did actually go up to a Portland Sea Dogs game this season. So I took the 3-hour drive up to Maine and went to a Portland Sea Dogs game. So that was pretty cool. Saw some of the young prospects for the Red Sox up and coming. Bobby Dahlbeck, one of the young prospects over there. I think Michael Chavis is one of those guys as well. Both of those players played in like spring training games for the Red Sox. Possibly on the roster, we'll see. But this is it for this one. The final score, we can write that down in the books. 70-50, the final in this one. Michigan State crushing Minnesota in this game. Amir Coffey had 27 points for Minnesota, but not enough. Not a lot of help from his teammates because Michigan State was leading the way. 14 points by Xavier Tillman, leading the scoring. 6 rebounds as well. Cassius Winston, 13 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals for Cassius in this game. Oh yeah, Buffalo plays in the AAA as well. But yeah, 2 hours away basically from Toronto that you're saying. But yeah, I've been to Niagara Falls once, which is not too far from Buffalo with that AAA team. But yeah, I go to Pawtucket like quite often throughout the season, like sometimes like 3 or 4 times during the season to see the Paw Sox. So sometimes I see the AAA squad at the Paw Sox playing. Sometimes they play Buffalo. Sometimes they play like the Yankees AAA squad or Syracuse or Rochester or something like that. But this game's gone final. Michigan State against Minnesota. Michigan State moving on to play LSU in the Sweet 16. This one is gone final. This is my last stream of the day. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into the chat. I'll be back again tomorrow. Washington taking on North Carolina. 2:40 tomorrow, and then Central Florida against Duke at 5:15. So is one of the Red Sox players coming back from the DL? I'd have to check into that. I'm not sure about that. I'd have to see about one of the Red Sox players coming back from the DL or so. I know the whole thing about Stephen Wright now with performance-enhancing drugs got like a huge suspension from MLB once again, so that's it. But yeah, this game's done. Michigan State won by 20. Thank you so much, Graydon, for joining me back here in the chat. I'll be back tomorrow covering North Carolina again with their game against Washington at 2:40, Duke against Central Florida at 5:15. That's a wrap. But yeah, that's basically it for that one. Oh, the guys coming back from the DL in Pawtucket. I've actually never seen that before. I've been like a few days off. I think like David Ortiz was in Pawtucket like 2 days earlier when I went to a game like 5 or 6 years ago or so. Like I've always missed out on that. Like guys rehabbing, down like in the minors or so with like the major league guys, but hopefully someday I'll be able to catch that. That would be pretty cool to see one of those MLB guys doing rehab back in AA or AAA. But yeah, that's basically it for tonight's game. Villanova getting crushed at the moment against Purdue, 64-32. So it looks like their tournament's done as well. But Michigan State moving on to take on LSU in the Sweet 16. Thank you guys so much. Have a nice night. And I'll be back tomorrow. UNC Washington, Duke against UCF. Have a nice night, everybody.